Yay, okay, we can see the candle. We got our road opener going. Mason has been extra clingy today. He's over just right here rubbing his face on my laptop. Yep, there you are. You gotta get a Patreon subscription to see that. Hello my witchy friends, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Sophie, I'm the Midwest Magician, and today I kind of wanted to talk about how I am planning the new year. I don't know about you guys, but I personally have a love-hate relationship with the idea of New Year being in December and just with the concept of a new year in general. While I love the idea of reflecting on our past year and setting new goals and new milestones for ourselves, I do feel like it puts a lot of pressure on us to really kind of hit these goals that almost kind of seem unachievable. I feel like it puts a pressure on us to basically change our entire lives at the first day of the year, and it kind of makes January feel like we're all set up to be miserable. I personally really don't like that. I quite enjoy January. I feel like it's finally a month where I can just like decompress after all of the holiday madness and relax and plan and do some road opening. I just don't like that we're all approaching January every single year as if it was like a doctor's appointment that we're dreading. I love the idea of reflection and making changes to our lives, but the idea of a New Year's resolution makes it seem very unachievable. I also think the idea of having one set New Year's Day kind of makes people put off starting on their goals. They're waiting for a specific time to be like, I'm flipping the switch and this is a new life for me. When in reality, you can change your life at any moment in any day at any time. If I wanted to, after filming this video, I could put my house on the market and move across the country. Will I? Probably not, but you don't need a specific day to tell you that you can change your life and make goals. So in this video, I'm kind of going to talk about how I'm planning my 2025, things that I want to achieve within these plans, and things that I want to do for the YouTube channel as well. And of course, I will be sprinkling in how this all ties into my spiritual, my magical practice. Since I am more of a folk-based witch, everything that I do is very practical and very everyday, so I feel like it'll fold into everything very nicely. But with all that said, let's go ahead, we'll dive into how I am breaking down my New Year's goals. So instead of doing a brand new year, changing everything in my life at the flip of a switch on January 1st, what I personally prefer to do is to kind of tackle my goals seasonally. So currently we are in winter, which is January through March. Well, I guess technically mid-December through mid-March, early April, but for all intents and purposes, we're in January right now, New Year. We're gonna say January through March. And for this month, I really want to focus on reflection, setting intentions, introspection, deepening my practice with my ancestors and my spirits, and rest. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I did a road opening candle. I will be burning this until it runs completely out. But I personally like to approach the winter season as a way to set future me up for success. So I will be doing road openings, I will be doing cleansings, and a lot of spiritual hygiene in the winter months. Not to say that I put it off in the summer months, but in the winter months it's going to be way more of a priority for me as I'm setting myself up for the rest of the year. And since where I live in the Chicagoland area, it is very cold and snowy right now, I feel like it's a great time to kind of reflect inwards and to start kind of working on deepening my personal rituals, my personal routines, and relationships with the spirits that I work with. I will also say this is a great time to be researching and reaching out to new spirits that you might want to start working with for the year. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to jump in feet first into working with these deities or spirits, but you can take the time during the winter months to kind of gather that knowledge and see if this would be something that you're interested interested in moving forward with. I personally am going to be using the rest of the winter to do a lot of divination work for the rest of the year, ways on, again, how to set myself up for success in the future, working on kind of refining my meditative practices. This is a great time for working on building your intuition and deepening psychic abilities. I do also in the winter months want to work deeper with vinegar, the black squirrel familiar spirit, and I do have another familiar spirit that I am going to be reaching out to, intending, and starting to work with as well. And actually, really quickly, I want to show you a book that I've been reading. I just finished it. I keep trying to film this and I keep getting interrupted by the animals, which is so fitting. But here's the book. I will do a close-up. It's called A Witch's Ally: Building a Magical Relationship with Animal Familiars and Companions. I think this book is such a great resource for building a relationship with familiars, for working with familiars. I wish I would have had this back in October when I started working with my familiar spirit. Highly recommend this book. I'll have it linked down below. It's $18.99. It's a Llewellyn title. They're an awesome publishing house if you're not aware, but you should be aware because they're all over. They have the best books. Anyways, this has been a great resource for me to deepen my familiar spirit relationships, and I'm building a new familiar spirit relationship very soon, and I will tell you guys all about it as it kind of comes along. Wintertime for me is a great time to deepen the relationships and build relationships with new spirits, is where I was going with all of that. And then as I was talking about earlier, it's a great time for setting intentions. So for me personally, and that will kind of bring us on to spring, which is like April to June. For the spring season, I really want to focus on growth. I want to focus on creativity, and I want to focus on building in-person community. So as far as growth is concerned, I really want to kind of breathe life into projects such as gardening, which I know I set up my garden last year. This will be my third year gardening. Third? Yeah, my third. Wow. Oh my gosh, time flies. It'll be my third year gardening, so I am really excited. We're going to be expanding and adding 2 more beds, and I have an entire section of garden that I was not able to do anything with last year, so I have just so much planning and expansion to do, so I'm really excited to breathe life into our garden space. I also really want to get into kind of sustainably foraging things for my personal practice. So if it's not something that I can grow in my garden, just kind of taking a look on my nature walks at things that I can, again, sustainably harvest and only pick what I need and nothing more than that. But I really want to learn about the native plants that are in my area and start incorporating those into my craft as well. As far as spirit work goes, I think the spring is a great time to kind of start working on your plant spirit connections. I'll be working with herbs and flowers for protection, for healing, for growth, for any kind of magical thing, and honestly mundane things too. I love to cook with the herbs that I grow in my garden, and which it could be magical or mundane depending on who you talk to. And if you talk to me, I think that cooking with things from your garden is magical. And in the spring, I do really want to focus on kind of rituals for renewal and setting those intentions for growth. So something that I did last year, which I kind of want to do again this year, but in a different way, was write down my intentions and plant them in my house plants to grow. But I kind of want to do this in my garden outside. So I'll write down my intentions before I prep the garden beds. And then once I add everything, the compost and we're gonna use straw again, that worked really well. But I will also be adding in my intentions for the plants that I put in my garden beds to help grow my dreams and aspirations and goals. And with that, hand in hand, I do have plans to expand my knowledge of plants and herbs in general, both for their magical and for their medicinal purposes. And then as far as in-person community, something that I really want to focus on in the spring and into the summer and early fall months as well is having my house open to the people that I love. So we've been planning a lot, and we want to announce to our family and friends that starting probably around late April to early May, every other weekend we kind of want to have one day where our house is just open open door policy. You can come in, you can hang out with us. We'll be cooking food to share with everybody. We'll have a bonfire going in the backyard, and just people are welcome to come as they feel like it and just hang out with us, enjoy food, break bread, and just chill with no pressure. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. I think that'll be such a magical time to connect with our community. And that shifts us into the summer months. So that's gonna be July through probably September. For these months, I kind of want to focus on things like strength and vitality. So what that's going to look like is incorporating a lot of solar magic. So practical side of things, I want to make a lot of sun teas. I want to roast a whole bunch of stuff in the sun. I think that is so much fun. Last year I did sun roasted tomatoes, and they turned out horribly because I didn't know what I was doing, but I want to try things like that again. I want to, celebrate the summer solstice. I want to find a way to kind of capture the sun to save for the darker months. And I don't mean capture as in steal it away from everybody else. I mean as a way to kind of save a little piece in my back pocket for when I really need it in the winter. I want to host, again, more outdoor gatherings. I want to have people here experiencing what we have been working all spring for, enjoying the bounty of our harvests. Something inside the house that I really want to do is find a way to hang and dry herbs in my kitchen so that I can always have that kind of available to me when I'm ready to be cooking, when I'm ready to be doing magic. I just want my herbs out and ready. I also feel really excited about just sharing with our community, with you guys on YouTube, with everybody. I feel like the summer months are so abundant and they're really great for sharing what you have with your friends and family. Last summer, I had so much fun harvesting a bunch of lavender and bringing it everywhere I went to pass out to my friends and family. The summer is going to be a great time to kind of focus on those high energy rituals and workings. And it's really easy to align those with kind of like the peak hours of the sun. And then that will move us into the fall months. So that's going to be October through December. And for these months, I really want to focus on things like harvesting and starting to kind of turn within and do introspection, and then shift back into kind of the indoor ancestor work. These months, we're going to also have some kind of bleed over with the goals and things that I plan to do, because we're working with a wheel. It turns. It's not like a light switch on and off between the seasons. So there's going to be transition between the two, which means overlap. All that to be said, this is a time of great abundance as well. So I do plan on harvesting and sharing the rewards of whatever we get from our garden. Hopefully it's a good gardening year. I really want to make these things that I've seen them on Pinterest and on a few people's YouTube channels, but people make these things called soup wreaths with rosemary and thyme and whatever other herbs, and they weave them into a little tiny wreath, probably about this big, and they dry them out and they pass them out to friends and family so that they can just toss the ring in their soup and it will flavor it, and then they can pull it out at the end. I adore that idea, so that's something that I'm really looking forward to making in the fall months. So with the fall times, of course, comes fall feasting, and something that my husband and I had talked about really wanting to do is hosting a Friendsgiving. It feels so weird to talk about Friendsgiving in January, but that's something that we're definitely planning to commit to. Absolutely, during this time we have Samhain, of course, so I will be working heavily with the ancestors and spirits that I'm connected to during this time as well, which honestly I feel like I'm just working with my ancestors and spirits all year long, but this will be the time that I really shift, I think, mostly to just ancestors. In the fall months, I really want to make it a priority to take an inventory of all of the good things that have happened in this past year. With New Year's, I feel like a lot of people think about the goals that they did not achieve in the past year, and I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to focus on the cool things that I've been able to do in the past year. So this fall, 2025, I really want to make it a goal to remember all of the cool things that we did in this past year. Something else that I really want to lean into in the fall is just focusing on what nature is doing, kind of leaning into the death aspect and letting myself shift into kind of a more cozy, inside, quiet mode. It's not necessarily that I want to wind down my practice, but I think during the later part of the fall months, it's a good time to just kind of take a breather, take an inventory. We've been doing all this crazy magic from spring to summer. I think it's a good time to just kind of wind down and reflect and focus on things like offerings and kind of smaller, more simple rituals. And then some kind of just like overall goals for myself. I want to read a lot more books. I am somebody who starts a book and puts it down and starts another book and puts it down and starts a third book and puts it down. So this year I really want to just finish one book at a time. And I want to tie that into my channel because I think it would be really fun to sit down and do like full in-depth book reviews on my favorite books that I have been reading. I want to personally do a lot more cooking. We do cook a lot already, but I want to do a lot more cooking, and I want to do a lot more cooking with ingredients that I have personally grown for myself. In the same vein of cooking and preparing things from scratch and from my own ingredients, I personally really want to start utilizing my freezer in a way better way. So that will look like batch cooking and freezing things for later. So it would be really nice to come home to open the freezer and see a bunch of options of things that I've already prepared, and all I have to do is heat them up. I also really want to start working a lot more on my personal grimoire. I did do a vlog kind of working on the big holidays of the year, the wheel of the year, and making pages for those in my grimoire, and I have to admit to you that I have not touched my grimoire since making that video. It's super embarrassing. It's not that I've been neglecting my magical practice, I've just been neglecting to write anything down about it. So this year I really do want to buckle down and work on my grimoire as I am building my practice. And that will kind of bring me into my YouTube goals for 2025. And the first of which being I want to really deepen the community here on this channel. I do really try to respond to each and every comment that I get on my videos. It's getting a little bit hard to keep up with, but that is something that I really want to make a priority. I do, of course, have subscriber milestone goals, but my main focus is going to be really deepening the connection and building community here on this channel. And that could potentially look like things like channel memberships or Patreon, but I don't feel like we're quite there just yet. I do want to say I have been so enjoying talking to all of you guys in the comments section. I look forward to seeing familiar names and faces, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you who watches, who comments, who clicks like and shares, and I really appreciate that so much. So really quickly, thank you so much for being here. It means so much to me that you're willing to sit and hang out and listen to me talk about my magical practice. I do also want to do a lot more teaching videos, but it's really only going to be on things that I'm working on within my practice. I do also want to do a lot more vlogs. I had so much fun creating that Witchy Day in Chicago vlog for you guys. It was a blast. So definitely expect some more vlogs coming from this channel. I really want to show the more practical side of my practice and show how I like to integrate magic into just my everyday life. I do also want to do a lot more book reviews. Did I say that already? Hey, I'm already reaching that goal because I just did a mini one with A Witch's Ally. Again, this is an awesome book if you're into working with familiar spirits. And then the last thing for my channel, I kind of want to do some Q&As because I feel like you guys have questions and I can answer them in the comments, but if there's enough people with similar questions, I would rather just answer them on a video so that everybody can get the answer all at the same time. If there is anything that you would like to see on the channel, please let me know in the comments down below because I would love to make videos that you guys want to see. But again, it's something that is going to have to align with what I'm actually doing in my magical practice. If it's not, I can point you in the direction of creators who are doing those things. But in conclusion, I am, for the year of 2025, breaking up my New Year's goals into seasonal sections. I feel like this makes things a lot more achievable. It gives me more time to reflect on what's working for my practice and what's not working for my practice. It really lets me kind of lean into the seasons that are happening and kind of shape my magical practice around those times. And it doesn't feel like I have to change my whole life in one day. I think that the new year can tend to make people feel anxious and overwhelmed, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. My goals and my practices are to better my life, and they're to serve me and not the other way around. I'm really excited to take you guys along on this journey of 2025. I'm super excited that you're here, and thank you so much for watching my videos. It is honestly an honor to be able to connect with other witches in this day and age, and just to see how far we've come as a community. I would love to hear how you're approaching the year 2025. Do you have any New Year's goals? Do you like to set a goal for just January 1st and that's the new way you're living? Do you like to do it kind of in the same way that I'm doing it, in a seasonal way? If you have any goals that you want to share, I would love to read what you plan on working on in the comments section down below. If you made it this far in the video, since we're celebrating the new year, I would love to see that little emoji that has the party hat on. If you could share him in the comments down below, I would love to know who made it to the end of the video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out with the algorithm. If you're not yet subscribed, I would love for you to join our witchy friends over here on the channel and hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Happy New Year. Bye.